Chris, if I may, my question would be, given your expertise with Innovation Alliance, can you tell us a little bit more? We've seen examples, virtuous example of how innovation can enable and fosters sustainable development. So when should a company start thinking about implementing innovation within their systems?
Great,
What point of their development?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for the question and thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. Your question suggests that there's a temporal element to this, right? It's okay, when should we start developing innovation capabilities actively? And we've been talking about this backstage a little bit, also with Bianca, because obviously we want to be innovative 24/7, right? And it's interesting because we talk about the definition of innovation. I was recently speaking to a CEO of a large corporation, and he told me like, "Hey, Chris, I was at an offsite last week, and I thought that we had this innovation thing under control. And I asked 20 different people of what do we mean by innovation, and I got 40 different answers." And so, it's quite ironic, right? Because many organizations say that innovation is important to them, but then if you ask them, "Hey, do you have a dedicated innovation strategy?" And then oftentimes the answer is, "We have a corporate strategy, but not necessarily a dedicated innovation strategy."
Yeah.
So then as a follow-up, you would ask, okay, hopefully at least the leaders across the organization know how to lead for innovation to happen. So let's say fostering a culture of psychological safety and giving the time and space to pursue these new efforts. But then they will say, we have great management, we have great leadership, but to be frank, they don't really know about these methods. After which the last question comes, tying it back to that, is where you ask, okay, well, hopefully then people across the organization are at least aligned on the definition. And sometimes innovation can be a bit of an inflated term. So I'll give you an example. I was recently working with a company who said, "Hey, we're launching a new CRM system, right? A new customer relationship management system. And we'll be able to send out proposals to the client quicker. And we're really innovating." So everyone was very encouraged. But then ironically, you will see that it's probably something they would have done anyway. Like it's not really a opportunity gap, but it's more of a performance gap. It's more of a hygiene effort, if you will. And I think a stress test for this is where you would ask the customer. So a customer, at least in my perspective, and I would love to hear from you also, is a customer should say that something is truly new and useful. As in the words of Linda Hill, I used to visit Boston with Andrea, the Director General of ICE, and it should be new and useful, and it should be both for the customer, but also for other stakeholders, but also on a horizontal level. Companies on a horizontal level should feel that the new launches that you're doing are enviable, that it's worth writing about, and it's not just an inflated term.
Yeah.
Now, when you ask about when should you develop these capabilities, in the beginning, you're just starting to get your feet under you, you're trying to survive. However, as the company grows, you start to saturate, and then it becomes a little bit more difficult because you already have this inertia.
Yeah.
And so we feel that whenever you start growing and you're able to set a predictable revenue target or a predictable sales target, meaning that the firm has stability, then arguably it would be a good moment to explore new adjacencies